This tutorial is for Mobius Lesson 4 Homework Question number 11. You and your family go to dinner at a local restaurant in Rexburg, Idaho, and your online banking report shows that the total dinner bill, food, tax, and tip was for $34. Suppose that you did not keep your receipt, but you remember that you paid a 15% tip for the service. What was your bill, food, and tax prior to calculating the tip? Tip was paid on the total of food and tax. So over here on the right, I've just kind of gleaned some of the information that the bill was for, you paid $34 and the tip was 15%. And they told us that the total is how much the bill was for, and I'm going to include tax in that because that's a separate percentage that we're not going to have to worry about because that was the total bill. And then you also paid on top of that a tip. Now, the tip, we don't know the amount, but we were told that it was a percent of the bill. And when we do a translation right there, so I'm just going to put this up here. Again, total equals the bill plus the tip. And in here for the tip, I'm going to say that it was a percent of the bill. Now, we're going to translate that from our English into a math sentence. So I have two ways of writing this out, and the first way I'll show it this way. It's the bill plus percent of the bill. That means that of means multiply, and it was 15%, so it's 15% of means multiply the bill. So I end up with the bill plus the extra 15% of the bill. So I can just write it out like this, and I can put in my $34 here, which works perfectly fine. The most common and what was used in the interactive textbook was something like this. Because the bill is, if I'm paying the bill right here, it's 100% of the bill, right? This tip is only 15%. So this is 100% of the bill plus 15% of the bill, and we could say this is 1 plus 0.15 or 1.1.5 times the bill, meaning that I pay for 100% of the bill plus the extra 15%. And sometimes I think some students just think that it looks a little nicer this way, and so it's 1.15 times the bill. Either way is fine, and as you're working through your own problems, whatever way works best for you in figuring that out, if you prefer kind of making a logical break it down sort of a thing and write it out in English and then translate that, that's fine. If you already are comfortable understanding that it's 100% plus the extra whatever it is, if we were calculating tax in this one, it would be 100% plus the tax. In this case, it was the tip. So since I have it down here, I'm going to go ahead and just use this one. And so I get the total, is 1.15, the bill. And we're going to replace the total, since it told us that the entire total for everything was $34. So we'll put 34 here and then solve for the bill. To solve an equation, we do the opposite operation to both sides, and we work in the order of operations backwards. So in this case, the only operation here is a product. So we're going to divide both sides by 1.15, and I'm just going to put it over here, 1.15, but I can't just do it to one side, I must do it to both. And, then I have the 1.15 cancels on this side. 1.15 divided by 1.15 is 1. 1 times whatever the bill is whatever the bill is. So 34 divided by 1.15 equals the bill. And so I can use a calculator, but in this case I'm going to use Excel so you can all see. And let's make this a little bigger. So to get Excel to calculate, we just put an equal sign in and then it tells it that we want it to calculate something. We'll type in 34 divided by 1.15, and that will tell us how much the bill was for the food and the tax prior to the tip. So this is, you know what, let's just go ahead and press copy. And I can put it here for Control V for paste. I can also put it over here, Control V and paste, although I want to round to the nearest cent. And this 5 will make the 6 round up to a 7. And I want to make sure that I don't have any other symbols or anything in there, since the system will see that as an extra symbol and not understand. And it already has a dollar sign, so that looks good. Okay, and the last thing, true or false, your total dinner bill, food, tax, and tip is 15% more than your bill of food and tax prior to calculating the tip. In a previous video, we also discussed this, and it's actually translated just like this. This right here is the total is 15% more than, 0.15 more than 100% of the bill, which is right here. And that's how I would translate this English sentence into the math sentence right there. So I'm going to select true. We'll go up and do how did I do and move on to the next one.